Hi there, friends. For many small business owners, marketing usually happens in one of two ways. Ad hoc, initiate marketing when inspiration or desperation strikes, or two, not at all. There's just really no intentional marketing activity going on. Now, of course, this is a little bit of a generalization. Most businesses aren't quite so extreme, but typically when I talk to business owners about marketing habits, they usually boil down to one of these two themes. Now, which would you say you are more in? Today we're talking about whether you as a small business owner really need a marketing strategy and or a marketing plan. Have you thought about this before? Have you thought even what is the difference between a marketing strategy and a marketing plan? So even if you haven't, tune in and let's get started. Hi there, I'm Lauren, owner of Marketing to Mission, where we get the privilege and pleasure of working with small business owners in Montgomery County and Bucks County, Pennsylvania, to help them clarify their message, simplify their marketing so that they can focus in on their mission. Today we're talking about marketing strategy and marketing plans. Do you need either or both or none at all? As I mentioned, there's really two ways that marketing tends to get done in small businesses, ad hoc or not at all. In the first case, there's usually some sort of impetus that gets a business owner to take action. Maybe they've had a slow month or slow week, or maybe they just had a conversation with a colleague that they tell them about some sort of new tactic or activity that they just tried and it seems interesting. In the second case, there is almost always an intent to get something out the door, but it just never quite gets there because the business owner is busy. There is a lot that has to go into running a small business, as I'm sure you are aware. So it just doesn't really seem to happen. Now, there's also rare cases where business is just booming and it doesn't really seem like any marketing needs to get done. Now, that is a topic for a different day, so we're not really going to go down that route today in this conversation. Now, be completely honest with yourself for a moment. Think about which case better describes you, ad hoc or not at all. Maybe it's a combination of both. Maybe you go through seasons and it ebbs and flows. Now, since you're being honest, consider how these two approaches affect your business overall and affect the incoming flow of new business. At this point, I'm guessing that we can pretty much agree that inconsistent marketing produces inconsistencies in your business. Now, this leads us to our discussion of marketing strategy and marketing plan. I know these technical terms usually make small business owners tune out, but please bear with me. I'm going to make this as painless as possible. The question we're trying to answer is this: do small businesses need a marketing strategy and or a marketing plan? First, it's important to define terms. To clarify what strategy is, be sure to read or watch my other blogs about how to make a marketing strategy, particularly part 1, which really gets into it. The basic definition is that strategy is the path down which you choose to go in order to accomplish a goal. To clarify plan, here are some definitions. Oxford describes it as a detailed proposal for doing or achieving something. Merriam-Webster defines it as a detailed formulation of a program of action. The key word in both of these definitions is detailed. A plan involves the nitty-gritty parts of exactly how you're going to do something. Strategy is what you're going to do. Plan is how you're going to do it. Now we can move back to the initial question. As business owner, do you really need a marketing strategy and or a marketing plan? My quick answer is this: strategy, yes. Plan, maybe. Now, before you tune out, listen in for my reasoning behind both of these answers. Why do you need a marketing strategy? As I mentioned in both of those blogs and videos about marketing strategy, The strategy is the path down which you're going to go in order to achieve a certain goal. There are always different options for the paths that you can take. But because you have limited time, resources, motivation, and energy, you will need to focus on one, maybe two, but you can't focus on all of them. Strategy helps you identify your priorities, which then allows you to set boundaries and narrow down your specific marketing activities. This process usually feels too narrow for most business owners but they do typically find out that it's actually easier to stick with consistently. When you try to do too much, it's hard to keep up. Now, let's do an example. Let's say your strategy is to meet industry adjacent professionals to build relationships in order to get referrals from them. Based on that choice or that strategy, which would you choose? Place an ad in a newspaper, attend a networking event, or boost a Facebook post? Obviously, you're going to choose the activity that gets you in front of other people, attending a networking event. See how that works? Strategy gives you a very clear first level decision-making model. Now, conversely, if your strategy was to use social media as a means to get people thinking about a problem differently, you would have chosen a different activity. You see how that works? The strategy helps you plan how to use your time and your resources. And hopefully, knowing that your strategy serves a purpose, it should help you stay motivated and stay on track. Without it, you're gonna be all over the place. You're gonna pursue any and all random marketing activities, which at best are just gonna make you feel crazy and haphazard, and at worst are gonna result in inconsistent, frustrating results, or maybe none at all. The reason strategy is so narrow is because it is focused on your ideal client. Rather than casting a wide net, you're engaging in activity that is meant to attract and engage your target audience. And isn't that what you want? Now, do you need a marketing plan? Do you need to further develop your strategy into that detailed plan? The answer to this depends on some factors, such as the type of business you are, your size, how long you've been in business, your resources, and even your personality. The challenge with a detailed plan is that we simply cannot know what the future holds, right? For many small business owners, it's very likely that there will be changes that can really impact business. March of 2020 taught us all a very clear lesson that business can very easily get derailed, right? But not all changes are bad. For example, what if you're a solopreneur and you suddenly land a big client? You are not going to have the same amount of time to devote to implementing your marketing plan. Now, larger businesses, or those that have been around for several years, you may have a little bit more of an understanding of seasons and cycles of your business and of consumer behavior, but they are still impacted by unpredictable changes. The second problem with plans for small businesses is that it is very challenging to estimate time and resources. How long is it really going to take to write and edit and get everything together for a blog post, or to design and get printed a brochure? Experience will inform this, so the more you do it, the easier you get at estimating time, but many obstacles cause delays. Even little things can cause big delays in implementing your plan. I just went through this with a client. We were trying to get out a postcard campaign. We were using a design that we had already used and was already approved, but they needed to just change the size a little bit. That led the designer to need to edit it, and then there were little things wrong with it, and between the back and forth with the designer, it put us back a whole week. So now we're not going to be able to get the campaign out originally when I thought. Now, in this case, it wasn't a huge deal, but that can have a big impact. Now, the last factor that you're going to look at is your personality. It's you. So a detailed marketing plan may help or hinder you depending on your personality type. For some, a plan can really help you stay focused and motivated, especially when you hit a roadblock. That plan will help keep you moving forward. But for others, maybe those who have trouble adjusting to changes, that plan, as soon as you hit a roadblock, you might just throw it all out because you can no longer implement it the exact way that you originally designed it. Now, over my years of experience, from small businesses to big global companies, time and time again, I have witnessed many marketing plans get derailed. And this is now why I'm kind of hesitant to prescribe really detailed marketing plans. I may be a little unconventional in this, but I believe businesses need something more flexible than a plan. They need something that accounts for the unexpected and it adjusts with the realities of business and life. What we need is a framework, something that offers structure to our strategy, but without the constraints of a really detailed plan that can very quickly go awry. Now, I'll be exploring this idea of a framework a little bit more later on, so stay tuned and look for those blogs and those videos. Now, what do you think about all of this? Do you have any questions? Do you agree with me? I would love to hear from you. Leave a comment below. Or you can send me a note personally. My contact information is in the description. And with that, folks, thanks for listening in today, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.